Oh, and thank you guys for tuning in. Today we're going to be doing my build showcase of Thoma. Thoma's a pretty cool character in the story, but gameplay wise, he's lacking quite a bit. It's hard to like build a really good one, but I thought I did a pretty decent job. He's been working out pretty well. I've enjoyed his my time with him. So let's get right into it. So we ended up getting some like pretty good crit rate, crit damage, but it's like kind of like split. There's like crit and like elemental mastery. So he's like definitely reaction based, but he does pretty well in both of those aspects. But if you were to focus out on one of them, you would definitely switch out this weapon for like what's it called, the Dragon's Bane, the elemental map. Why do I have like so many of them? So you would switch out for like this. But even better is the Katane Crossbeer, which is like his like signature weapon actually, which is cool that it works really well on him. That's probably like his best in slot if you're going for elemental mastery. If you're going for like some kind of like crit kind of thing, Thoma is probably better. But I don't have an extra Thoma for him. I have an extra Scarlet Sands, so he's gonna deal with it, and it works out pretty well. It works out because it helps out with both of them a little bit. So you get all these buffs when you have for elemental mastery. So you use your skill, you get extra elemental mastery. When you have a bunch of elemental mastery, you get a little bit more than half of that as extra attack. That's really cool. So you get all this extra attack. You have like fat crit rate substat, and you just got to worry about getting some crit damage and getting some elemental mastery. So in the artifacts, we are rocking 2-piece Wanderer and 2-piece Crimson Witch. I was really torn and tricked between 4-piece Crimson Witch or 2-piece Wanderers, 2-piece Gilded, or 2-piece Flower of Lost Paradise, or 4-piece Flower of Lost Paradise. But the thing about Lost Paradise is that it locks you into like Dendro stuff. I wanted them to be more general, so I can use them in like a bunch of different team comps with all these different things. So even if I'm just buffing his like pyro damage or whatever, you know, there's so many different ways I could build them. Because when you have a variety of characters, it's better to like, for me, it's better to play them for the fun of it. Like they just start throwing little teams together. Like, oh, he's built to do like anything pretty well. Because like I'm not bringing Thoma to like Spiral Abyss. I built him to mess around with, and he works really well for messing around with. So for our Wanderer Flower, we got decent elemental mastery rolls. I think we had like 2 rolls. No, I think that's just 1 roll. And then no. I'm thinking of something else. We get a bunch of it into attack, which is like the worst possible thing here that I could have rolled into. But hey, man, whatever. And this feather is pretty good. And this was a really, really good Sands. It took me a long time to get it, and I was extremely proud of it. And I don't even like care that it didn't roll that much crit rate, because it has it on it, which means there's like 1 less bad stat that could be on it, like 1 less chance of a bad stat being on it. So that's cool. And then it rolled a bunch of crit damage, which is exactly what I wanted, and it's a gorgeous piece. Absolutely love it. And then we have another gorgeous piece. I really am in love with this goblet. So it's elemental mastery. I'm not running pyro damage, running elemental mastery, and I don't know why it like the stats look really good. You know, there's HP, which he benefits from, and there's crit, and then there's just crits. So this is a really nice looking goblet, right? But then it rolls all into crit rate. Like this is an insane amount of crit rate. That's why his like crit rate is like 70 something, and his like crit damage is kind of lacking. But it's still a really gorgeous piece. And then we have since we're doing 2 and 2, we have a chance for an off piece. So we had a elemental mastery hat that had a bunch of crit damage on it. This is another lovely looking piece. It's identical to the Sands. Basically, you know, it's like the Spider-Man meme. You know, just staring at each other, like high crit damage and elemental mastery. So what were these numbers again? It's pretty wild. Yeah, it's like 78 and 126 because, and that goblet The goblet really messed it up. If that goblet had crit damage, this would have been like 140-ish, maybe 150. It's all your fault. So for constellations, we have them C6. It's been out for a very long time. I don't even remember when I C6'd them. I was probably still like a baby. When a character C1 character is protected, so when you get hit while another character is protected, like the cooldowns for his burst and his skill go down by 3 seconds. Like, whatever, it's like negligible. You don't even notice it. This increases his burst uptime by 3%. This increases his C3 is his skill going up an additional 3 levels. C4 is his burst will give back some energy, which is really nice because he kind of takes like a lot of energy. Because it's a little tricky, like getting like so many like charges into his or getting like a uptime. Wrong words. It's a little tricky getting the energy recharge, the energy for his burst sometimes. And then this increases his burst by 3 levels, very useful. And then this increases normal charge and plunging attack of your party while they're protected by the blazing barrier, which was his skill. That's really nice. Even like there's a lot of different ways you can go about playing him because of this. But it's 6 seconds, but it's whenever it's obtained or refreshed. So you could run like I don't think there's a sacrificial spear yet, but you could run because I believe his burst counts as is it the same thing? I could be wrong. I don't think it does. Never mind. But for 6 seconds, you're going in, man. No, that's what I was gonna say. You could run the Noblesse Oblige and use his skill, and then trigger this, and then use his burst, and so on. You have all these like buffs going on for your attacks, and then you know, the reactions on top of that, depending on how you built him, and or how you built the party around him. That could be pretty nice. Next up for his talents, you know, normal attack stuff, you know, whatever. And then his skill. So the skill is just the shield, and you know, as typical shields go, scales off of HP. It has an increased absorption of the element that it is, because it's pyro shield, and inflicts him with pyro. And when a new one is made, it like absorbs like the old one or whatever. I don't have him built for HP, so like his shield like breaks in like seconds, so it's like irrelevant, all that stuff for me, so I don't really care for it. But if you did want to build him for a shield, you know, put a bunch of HP on him and whatnot. And these are the stats on it: the duration it lasts, what gets upgraded, the max absorption. 15 second cooldown's kind of long though. Like, it's not like insanely long, but it gets a bit much. Like, you start waiting for a long time. You start wondering if the boss will ever come, kind of long. And then his burst, that's the real thing we're here for. It's like the best part of him. So it's like the same thing. You do like a little, he does like a little fancy move, like with Blazing Blessing. He does like a kick that looks really cool. This one he has like a pose or whatever it was. And then you get this Scorching Oyori. And with this, whenever you use a normal attack, which is weird because it's specifically normal attacks, but the other thing helps charged and plunging attacks. Strange. But whenever you use a normal attack, you inflict some his shield shoots out some fire. So that that's like, since it's part of the shield, if you switch to another character, it still does that. So you can stay on Thoma and like spam stuff, or you can switch to someone else and then spam stuff even more. So that's like where his off-field pyro application comes in, and it also gives you like another shield, or it refreshes the shield. Yeah, because this is still Blazing Barrier. Bam, right there. So yeah, and then it's like the usual Blazing Barrier stuff, because it is. So yeah, so next it's on to his next talent. When your current active character obtains a refresh of Blazing Barrier, oh yeah, it increases shield strength. Like I said, I don't care for the shield. I just care about the higher application of the fiery collapse. So this, oh, I didn't show this. Yeah, so there's a bunch of numbers here. The damage of it on use, the fiery collapse damage whenever you use it, and then the shield stuff as usual. And the energy cost, 80. 80 is like 1,000, might as well be. So this, when you refresh it, you get more shield strength. Just like whatever, like I said, I don't play him for the shield, I didn't build him for the shield, so that's, all this shield stuff is like irrelevant for me. So, but this next one is pretty important. The damage dealt by the fiery collapse is increased by 2.2% of Thoma's max HP. So if you really wanted to optimize like damage, you still wouldn't go for HP. It'd be better to go for elemental mastery and go for reactions and whatnot, because like this is kind of like cute when you go for like straight HP, because then it's gonna do like a decent amount of damage. But I still wouldn't go for it. I'd still rock with either, you know, like the crit damage and whatnot, or the, I wouldn't fully go into that. I would, unless you have like 4-piece Crimson Witch and you're like doing other stuff. But for this, I would say it's still not worth it, because the elemental master, you just get so much more out of his fiery collapses. But it's nice to have, you know, like obviously you're gonna have some health on him, so it works out, man. And then when you're fishing, you get, and in the Thoma, you get the chance of getting a double catch, which is cute. Yeah, there's quite a few alternative artifacts you can run on him, and there's like so many different teams you can build with him. You can go for like I would like you could do like a melt team with him. You can have like Chung Yoon or and use his skill and then trigger melt. You can have Candace and do the same thing but with vaporize. That's probably what I'm gonna try out later. Is that those two sound like fun, but I think I would need to have like I would need to get rid of this, because then it would be like kind of pointless. It'd be better to have like some kind of reaction or something, or attack percent or something like that, because then his normal attack would be of those. Or you could trigger that with Candace or Chung Yoon, I guess. I just realized. And since he has high elemental mastery and his fiery collapse comes out second, it works out pretty well. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Make sure you check out some of my other builds, some of my tier list, and thank you guys for watching. Take care.